What's up, fam? Welcome to Watch Your Work. We got people already in the house today.
Hello,
Good to see you,
hello.
friends. I am Kevin, joined as always by Kelsey. Kelsey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It feels good to be back after a week.
Yeah.
I think I'm glad we took um last week off. It had more to do with like my travel schedule than the world being on fire, but I'm glad we
The
took that
timing
time.
wasn't so bad with that. Yeah,
No.
2 weeks off for me. I feel like it's been a minute since I've been on here. Life's been a little
Yeah.
crazy for us, but we are chugging along, doing what we
Right.
gotta do. And yeah, but back. Nice to carve out some time for this. I have not talked nearly enough about the W uh in the last few weeks as I would have liked. So
Oh, same. I went on a trip
yeah.
with my family and like 5 minutes in, they were just done. Like, Kevin, you have to move on to like a different topic. Like, no one else cares.
I was
Um,
hoping you were gonna get to go to a game in that trip, but just didn't quite
oh
work out
gosh,
with
it did
with the
not.
scheduling. Yeah.
It did not work out. Because I swear to God, Barclays Center would have kept my daughter, because she would have just kept singing the Liberty theme song. It's like we have to have this child here as like
Yeah.
our hype person. Yeah,
They
she
would
was
have
ready to
hired
go.
her.
Yeah, on the
Although
spot.
then you all would have been all set because then she just would have been the famous kid who takes care of the parents early, Like,
Right. We would not be the first like stage parents in New York City to just
yeah.
like live off the kiddo. That's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, you gotta move.
Oh
She's
yeah,
destined
it's
destined to be a star.
it's already destiny, right?
Yeah. No, that feels
Um,
good though. Those games are fun. We have
yeah,
another one we're going to end of August, I think. The
sweet,
the Liberty Mercury game. Yeah. So
nice,
excited about that. Get back over there. But yeah.
yeah. Um, Speaking of uh, just getting into it and being hyped, we have 4 moments to give away in our 1 hour show tonight, and we have such a crew who like hype up our show like a couple hours before because God knows I'm not doing it enough, and we have people showing up in the chat, and we gotta start rewarding some people.
Yeah.
So our fam JK's gifted us 3 moments. Our man Stubbs also gifted us a moment that we're going to give away later tonight. It was a Brittany Griner Top Shot debut. So for our first moment, we got a Natisha Heidemann to give away. And let me make sure what kind of hashtag we want. This is the Natisha Top Shot debut. Out of 6K. And we gotta let know our fam already here in the chat. Now we're bragging about influencer. Right, huge spread. And then we're branching out into the family as already like hype people and everything. So we're like set and ready to go. So what's a good Connecticut Sun hashtag that we can get out started?
This is a good question. I feel like I'm gonna have to start having these ready to go. Like the hashtags, the hashtag prep. Connecticut Sun. I was just watching them
This
play
is
the
lowest
Wings.
bar, and I don't even clear it. Yeah.
Nebraska. I bet
You were
there's
watching the
some.
Wings.
I bet there's some influencers in Nebraska. You guys should have a meetup.
There are. There's like 3 people. I think one other person does like Top Shot things, and the rest are just like I swear to God, there's like I open up Instagram and Reels. There's like they're just like the travel like influencer people of like, look at these hidden spots I found in Omaha. It's like everyone who's been in Nebraska 3 seconds knows this. There's like 3 hidden spots in Omaha. We're not that big.
They're not hidden either. If that's how that works.
There's like the Applebee's that no one ever goes to. That's your hidden spot, right?
Love an Applebee's. Love it. I don't know what to do for a hashtag. I feel like I want to give this away now, but I also feel like we have to talk more WNBA for the hashtag inspiration to really strike.
That's true.
We could do like how does she spell her Natisha? Or do they spell her name? I don't know.
It
start
is
using more neutral pronouns.
The I before E in Heidemann. HIE.
NATI. What if we did like C Tisha, like Connecticut?
Ooh, I like
it looks better written.
Yeah.
Yeah, this feels
Let's get
right.
that going.
All right. This is it. I'll put it in the chat.
Excellent.
There we
And we're
go.
going to spin it and win it. There we go.
There we go.
Make sure that you like the video, that you're subscribed to Team Hold. We got to boost
Add the
those numbers
hashtag.
up.
I didn't. I should have. Yeah, there we go.
There
Mark
we
gets
go.
it.
Excellent.
Mark gets it. Thank you.
All right, so there's a lot to figure out in the W. We already have a couple of games going on. Seattle took care of Indiana. Jewel Lloyd showed up, dropped like 25 points. Ezzy Magabor got double-double. It looks like, well, it started out Dallas was taking care of things with Connecticut, but as Connecticut does, they crawled back into it.
Yeah.
They could be up a dozen right now for all I know.
They did that the other night. Connecticut's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Just every time I watch them, it's sort of, maybe it's the Jonquil Jones effect, where I don't think she's done anything. And then I see her stat line and I'm like, I mean, I guess she did. I guess. But I just, when I turn on a Sun game, I expect her to score a few times in whatever span of time I dedicate to watching it. I expect to see her score in that time frame, and it doesn't always happen.
She's an optical illusion because
Yes.
I'll watch the same game and then I will walk to the kitchen to fill up my water bottle. The entire time I'm sitting on the couch, she's not doing anything. By the time I get back from filling up my water bottle, she has 8 points and like 6 rebounds in those like 30 seconds. Like, she's an illusion.
Silent killer. But it makes me feel like her ceiling is so high, and we're not reaching it.
Yeah.
I still have qualms. I just,
maybe there's the takeaway from last year that they peaked too early and that she's not ready to go all in until we hit like August, and then we're gonna get like a playoff Jonquil maybe.
That would be fun. I would like that. The great comeback the other night. That was fun.
Yeah, good team. I mean,
are
taking care of the Mystics, and Kelsey Qualms is a great hashtag.
I do my complaints.
Right. And then, I mean, on the other side, I don't know of a team, and I'm including the Phoenix Mercury in this, I don't know of a team with worse vibes than the Dallas Wings at the moment. Like,
I need some updates on the drama. I feel like I missed just enough of stuff, and then more stuff happened, and then I never quite had the time to catch up.
So there's
Phoenix stuff. We gotta go over the Phoenix drama, and we gotta go over the Wings drama. But I need some details filled in. I don't think any of the Wings. I don't think I know the Wings drama.
Okay, so the Wings drama has been, let's take it back to before the season started. Like in February, Arike Gupawale signs a Supermax deal. She's the most recognizable name on that team, and she had things to work on in her game before the season started. And season starts, doesn't look like she's working on those things. She's still taking bad shots. She just disappears when she doesn't have the ball in her hands, does not really playing defense. And
the announcers for the game tonight were saying the same thing of like, the All-Star game is going to be fun for her because she can just play how she likes to play, like an all offense game. And I was like,
man, that is like the most silent dig. Like,
and they sort of, you could hear them react to it and be like, how do we not make that sound as mean as it does right now? It was very funny.
And so through her frustration, she just starts going full on soccer player at games, gets teed up for like kicking the scores table and breaking one of the screens there at like Crypto Arena. She kicks the ball into the stands
how did I miss
multiple times. This is like a month ago. And then she is like full on like screaming expletives at her coach in like videos that like pop up on Twitter. Then it shifts from Arike to Izzy Harrison this last weekend. Isabel Harrison goes on, responds to some fans' question on Twitter of like, why are you not getting the ball during the game? And like her response is like, when my coach
That was a
Like, tells you,
TikTok.
I'll let you know. Yes, and
Okay,
then
I saw
today she had the
okay.
TikTok. Yep, she was
Yeah,
multiple
yeah, yeah.
times, and they are
Yeah, when
woof.
the offense
Yeah.
runs through the guards, it
Mhm.
was, like, one of the things. Okay, alright, so I have pieces of the drama, but I didn't have the whole thing. Ooh,
And apparently, they asked the head coach about the most recent drama in the pregame presser, today, and she had, like, no knowledge of it. Like, she had, like, clueless about, like, what was happening from her players, like, on TikTok
honestly,
and everything.
even if even if they're not clueless, feels smart to take that angle,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
you know? But I also, like yeah, that's a weird it's like, it'll be handled and addressed. Like, once it's, like, brought up to them, they're like, "Oh, yeah, we'll have to don't worry, we'll get it together."
Seriously.
Yeah, social media, man.
Mm.
I would think there's gotta be something that either is in their contracts or needs to be put in contracts probably of, like, what that means, like, the social media behaviors of just athletes in general. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, wow. But, like,
Um
good for them, I think a little bit. Like
Oh, absolutely. They have to use, like, use your
yeah.
platform.
They have to
Like,
advocate for themselves so much that it's just, you know, you wish there were kind of more support overall, and, I think if there maybe were more voices saying these things for those players,
yeah,
they might not feel the need to sort of air
absolutely.
their
Or
dirty
like
laundry on the internet.
If Stephen A was on First Take every morning,
Yeah.
like, screaming about, like, "Why isn't Izzy Harrison getting the ball?" Like, she wouldn't have to make
I
TikToks
don't
herself doing
right.
this. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Izzy, we
Um,
see you.
we see you, we support
We
you.
have to follow her on TikTok.
And then Phoenix. We're gonna dedicate a whole ass episode to the Phoenix drama. We have Alia Baines from PHX Sports on YouTube going to join us in a couple weeks to talk about what's happening with Phoenix. But since we've had a show, Tina Charles is no longer with the team.
Right?
Sky, right? Skylar Diggins Smith threw a clown emoji on a
Yes.
tweet with her coach. Um,
What was the clip of the coach? Was that talking about DT in the All-Star game?
So she's talking about how it's not really going to be an all-star game because DT isn't in attendance, which if you've watched any Mercury games, she
Aren't
doesn't belong
they?
in the
I
all-star game.
forget the stat. Her Hoop Stats had this in a newsletter recently, but something about the Mercury's like efficiency when she's on the court, when she's off the court.
Right.
it's
Like
it's pretty
the
nuts.
season started, Tarasi is like this lead ball handler. Skylar Diggins is playing off ball and like
Yeah.
nothing is happening on offense. And now, rightfully so, Skylar Diggins is the main focal point of the offense. And what do you know? They're like scoring 80, 90 points every game. And DT is halfway involved in a lot of these
Yeah.
games.
Defensive
Anyway,
liability. I mean, I
right.
think they just like yeah.
So
And
Skylar,
if she's
an
on
actual,
fire, like they're gonna play her, but if she's
yeah, and
not. She's that's
more
like
often
when
than not,
she's
she's not.
valuable.
Yeah. And then like in this press conference where the coach is like saying this, everyone knows that Skylar Diggins Smith is an all-star.
Mhm.
And the moment before this video is clipped, like Vanessa Nygaard is saying, like, Skylar deserves this. She's an all-star. She's a great player. But what shows up on Twitter is the video saying it's not an all-star game because DT isn't there. Then Skylar Diggins Smith, who
Yeah,
is
got it.
speaking of people who are great at Twitter,
Yeah.
she can
Yeah.
craft a narrative like none other. And she throws a clown tweet um, on the clipped video of her coach. And this was like on a day of a game, and they just like show up as if nothing is
Wow.
happening. This is so weird. In addition to all these drama, like after like Tina Charles asked for an
Yeah.
exit from the Mercury, they win their game, and there's videos of players on the sideline screaming "F Tina Charles," like in
Wow.
like still in the arena and everything.
And
Like
what was
there's
that
drama.
about? Because the offense wasn't sort of did Tina Charles expect to be a more central, like, focal point of the offense? Because that's not what's gonna happen in Seattle, but I guess at that point, you're like
I think the expectations sure change when she showed
Yeah.
up to Seattle. I'm guessing it's not what she signed up for.
Yeah.
I'm guessing just watching them play that the sets that Nygaard was running, for her, Tina Charles likes to get the ball in the low post and just
Mhm.
eat up 12 seconds of the shot clock, like dribbling and like faking. And like the offensive sets weren't that. She was getting like
Yeah.
high screen and rolls, like pick and pops, things like this. And I mean, she was getting like solo looks like on her own, like at three and everything, like at the three line. So like I don't know why she was so upset with that, but that wasn't her preference, I guess.
Yeah.
And she was out. And I mean, we were also talking about like when the season starts, there's also a video of Skylar and DT almost coming to blows, like on the sideline too,
Right.
like getting each
Right.
other to the face and yelling. So who knows what this locker room has been
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all season? But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Seems like tensions are high. Where are they now? Let me pull this
Right.
up. So they're 10th in the standings.
Yep. About a game
Oh
and a
my
half out of the
gosh.
playoffs. Yeah. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Of playoffs without the Mercury. I mean,
I know.
beginning of
It's
the
really strange.
season, we were like, this team, they
Right.
just got more weapons. Like this is
I think if we go
wow.
back
And
to
then,
February, like you were calling it, like you were ready to put them in the finals.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Um, I was very wrong.
We're all wrong.
That's wrong. That's just wrong. Atlanta Dream surprising me day after day.
Mhm. Still the best
Um,
defense in the league.
yeah. Yeah, holding steady in the middle there.
Mhm.
Yeah, would have probably had them flipped, the Dream and Mercury.
Yeah.
And then otherwise it seems pretty expected. Although Ace is fallen down a little bit here.
Right. And what
I don't
you know
know.
what? I haven't watched as much Aces in the last week since they sort of started the slide. Like in the last 10 games, I looked this up before the show starts. They're like 6-4, like 15-6 overall. Number 2 in the W, but not the world beaters they were in the first month of the season.
No, they were so dominant at the beginning of the
Yeah.
season. I
So
think
what's
teams have
going into
figured
their
it
slide?
out. I
Yeah.
think the teams have figured it out. And I don't
Mhm.
think they're adjusting offensively to the defensive adjustments on the other end. Um, who'd they play the other night? Smoked them.
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
then
my
got
brain's
smoked by the
already.
Lynx. Yeah.
Yes, the Lynx.
Mhm.
And the Lynx played excellent. Like they truly were firing on all cylinders. But the Lynx are your 11th place. Like they're 11 out of 12 in the league right now. Like
Yeah.
they had no business beating the Aces by that margin. What was this? I gotta find the score now.
Okay. Well, while you do that, NDH, I think Connecticut Sun has something to say about this, and the Storm are going to as well. Like this top 4 or 5, and that's not even talking about the Mystics, who, like, let's say the rest works for Elena Del Don and
Yeah.
she can play every game in the playoffs. This is a completely different Mercury team than maybe what we saw like give up their lead on Sunday because Elena wasn't there. So I still think this is pretty wide open. And there's definitely teams that, like, I mean, Chicago and Vegas are clearly the top 2, but
Yeah. That'll
I
be a
think,
fun
yeah.
cup game.
Mm-hmm.
The Commissioner's
Hey,
Cup.
speaking of,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. So
we
we'll
I
get
think we
that.
need to put this on. It's going to be on July 26th, which is my birthday. It's on a Tuesday.
Amazing.
Amazing. And I think we need to put this on playback so we
Oh,
can.
that's a good. What time does that game start?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I know that it's on Prime. I think it's an 8 o'clock game for you.
Okay.
But we'll see.
I
We'll
might have
bring
to
our
mess with
solo
my work
cups,
schedule a little
party
bit. Or
hats.
maybe you
Yeah.
start that and I come in. I come
There
in
you
when I'm
go.
home. But
We'll
my
have
my
friends
work
to join
schedule
us
is
too. Yeah.
not basketball friendly. But that would be great. That'd be fun. Definitely
Perfect.
watch all. Lynx,
Yeah.
so Lynx Aces. The Lynx won 102 to 71.
Woof.
What?
I
And
I think there's.
played extraordinary. Like
Mhm.
end of that game, I think everyone hit a three. they were already up like 30 points, and just everyone's like, I'm gonna get one, I'm gonna get one, I'm gonna get one.
We
It was
absolutely
very fun.
got the
But
best version of Aerial Powers that game.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
scored over 30. Yeah.
Oh, it's all coming back to me now. Mike was like, oh, I'll do an underdog line for the, like, I'll pick some underdog picks for this game. He's like going through, and I was like, I don't feel great about a lot of these. Like, I just don't know. And he's like, Aerial Powers, I think it was like 13 and a half points, rebounds, assists. I was like, she hasn't done a whole lot. Like, I think her average points per game at that point in time was like 11. And I was like, yeah, I don't see her getting that many. It's the Aces. They're a great team. Like, that's probably a safe bet. And then she goes and has her highest scoring game.
Yep. Just crushes it. Yeah, no, I told...
Like, sorry, Mike.
I think it was... I know she was over 30 points.
32 points.
Yeah.
32 points.
I told Mike when he posted those underdogs, like, wow, you're brave going with the unders on Asia. And like, that's probably the only thing that would have hit out of that. Like,
yeah, and I was like, that's a good... Right, and I was like, that's a fun way to think about the game. I don't see Aerial Powers getting, like, I think that's probably a safe choice. 32 points.
Crushed it.
Yeah, I need to see where... I was like, sorry, that's my fault. Like, that's me. I root against somebody, say it out loud, and then they have the game of their lives.
No, Mike has not sent me that Plum TSD yet, because, and I'm not gonna rag on him for it, because our bet was like all-star like fan votes, and I got really cocky when they released the all-star like starter set, when like Skylar was ranked higher than
she ended up with more fan votes than Ryan Howard.
She ended up with more fan votes. Okay, I thought that was just like the composite score from like media and like
she ended up with more votes by every metric.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah. So ask Mike about.
And Mike didn't tell me that he lost that bet, but I saw it. I think he had responded to you in the Team Hold Discord before and then I discovered it on the internet like an hour later. And I didn't want to gloat too much, but I was like, interesting. I will give him credit, though. I did not expect Ryan Howard to be that close to Skylar Diggins-Smith in those rankings and the running.
Oh, sure.
Credit to Ryan Howard. Playing incredible. Like, so much fun. Love rooting for rookies. She's great. Right. She's going to be great. This is like a very fun... If you're not watching her play yet, get on that. Watch the next Dream game.
I will... I'll give it a week before I threaten to rescind like my wedding gift or anything like that. So we're all good. Do we want to spin for our Natisha? We gotta throw in CT Isha.
Let me share
in the chat before we
Shimachrome tab.
Make sure that you like, subscribe.
All right, throw 16 in entries. Isha. Hashtag CT Isha.
Yeah, this needs to happen soon.
That's probably it, right? All right, let's...
Mo Jefferson is going to be our most improved player this year if things hold. Sorry, that was a rant.
All right, here we go. Drawing. 17 entries. Somebody got in there. Oh, I forgot. I put it in the chat. I didn't put the hashtag. It still let me. It still worked, I guess.
Of course, we're going to win.
Sorry, everyone. This is like that time that Kevin ended up in a giveaway that we were running, and it randomly pulled you as well. So we're gonna draw again.
There we go.
In the Twitch Team Hold Twitch one. So I guess that is a separate.
This is a separate. This viewer. Is becoming a tradition for this show. There
you go, Gary.
Gary Golnick. Let me write this down.
Rigged.
All right. So I brought up most improved player. And I gave us homework before we showed up, because we're at the halfway point of the season. Do we want to talk about like some first half awards? This is how I win. This is how I win.
We've never actually given a moment away. We've just created enough alt accounts.
Yep.
That they just keep coming back.
So I got to spend some great times in Basketball Reference and her hoop stats today to try to like let's look at like what this first half is telling us
Yeah, I might be doing
about
that as we go through here. Just if we're being
um
real.
yeah, it's totally real.
Um,
So I think we talked about let's talk about like who's our first half MVP, rookie of the year, most improved player. And while you look it up, like we can start to talk this through. Because I think there's some really interesting things. And if you have thoughts in the chat too, like let me know.
yeah,
Because I'm gonna start at the top with just like um MVP, because I thought this was some of the most interesting stuff. So let's see here. Our friends at Her Hoop Stats, with which we bring up like
they're so good. I
every
truly like
yeah.
if you want W knowledge, that to me is the place to go. Their
Mm-hmm.
newsletters are so good.
Mm-hmm.
They have so much information, sometimes a little lengthy, I will say, but
Mm-hmm.
you just like put it aside until you have the time to read the whole thing. And it's
Right.
always, I'm never like, that was a lot of stuff I didn't like. I never feel like I didn't need all of it, I guess. It's good. It's really good.
I'm loving these
Highly
thoughts here.
recommend.
Like Alyssa Thomas, most improved. I mean, when you miss the entire previous season with a ruptured Achilles, like if I could play like that after a ruptured
Yeah,
Achilles, that would be
right?
pretty okay. Asia for MVP. So this is where I thought my first draft thought was I think it has to be Asia for
Mm-hmm.
MVP. And we go here at Her Hoop Stat. They have just right on their front page top
Yeah.
2022 WNBA players.
And they
Asia
rank
Wilson.
them by win share. That
Yes.
ranking
Mhm.
is win shares. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. So that's where I started to look at. I started to look at per win shares. Basketball Reference also has like offensive and defensive win shares. They split that up a little bit. Asia's right here, averaging 18 points, 10 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks on what's right now the second best team in the league. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's a pretty convincing case for MVP.
Yeah.
You also look up at top, Stewie, like the third or fourth best team, missed some games from COVID early in the year and just came out firing. Just 21 points, 7 boards, almost 3 assists, 2 steals and a block. Pretty incredible stuff. Leading the league in win shares. If I was gonna throw in just like a dark horse vote,
Mm-hmm.
Neke Gumike is having an incredible year for a Sparks team that if we're talking about drama and
Yeah.
like tumultuous season, she is the constant rock steady. Like Kennedy Carter isn't even playing. Liz Cambage is, I mean, the coach doesn't, they were saying this in the last Sparks game that was on TV. Like the coach doesn't trust playing her like over so many minutes a game because he doesn't feel like she's in that kind of shape yet. Not
Okay.
getting shot attempts. Fired their coach midseason, working with an interim coach, and still they're in the playoff picture. And still, Neke is averaging 18, 7, 2 assists, almost 2 steals, and third in the league in win shares. Like she's been just the bar of
How does
consistency.
the win share stat is always interesting to me. Because like then you go down to like Kelsey
Mm-hmm.
Plum, who
Mm-hmm.
is averaging 20 points per game.
Yep.
Like what? And her rebound numbers are obviously a lot lower than Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson. Like
Yep.
she's not rebound. That's not what she's meant to do out there.
Yep.
Assists though, like she has the highest assist rate on this list as well. Steals, she's at
Mm-hmm.
1.2, which is comparable to everybody else. And like so rebounds and blocks, but again, not really expectations of her.
Right.
For her win shares to be, I'm like,
That much lower. I wonder if that
yeah,
has to do with like minutes played. Because I don't know if she's. I mean,
right, because she's
the
yeah,
guard rotation in Vegas is a little bit deeper. I don't know if she
she's playing
has
34 minutes per game. It looks like,
really. Okay.
yeah, which like, I mean, I don't know, she's playing amazing.
She is playing
Team
amazing.
Kelsey Plum, she's playing amazing.
Right.
I know I've looked up like how they calculate the win share thing. I think you're
Mhm.
right that it's like a efficiency It's like how isn't it sort of like how much better the team does when they're on the floor
Yep.
compared to
Mhm.
not? So like it
Yeah.
makes sense to me then that someone like Kelsey Plum and Asia Wilson are gonna have lower win shares because the
Mhm.
team, like on a better team, isn't that gonna make your win share? It's gonna affect your win share negatively, I guess, in that way, because you have more people contributing. So like Brianna Stewart's coming out, and so when
Mhm.
she's on the floor, the team performs way better.
Right, and this is why I think Breonna Jones is so high, um,
I actually think they talked about this. Was it Brianna
because
Jones?
she
There
started,
was a
like, 3
her
games. Yeah. Sorry,
there
go
was
ahead.
a newsletter that I think talked about how you have to like kind of look at, and I don't know if it was win shares they were talking about, but I do think it
Mhm.
was Brianna Jones specifically where they were like when she's on the floor, it's often when they're winning. Or
Mhm.
there's been a couple times where she's playing and they're winning, and so then she gets a lot more points and does a lot more
Yeah.
kind of on the court in game situations where it's maybe not as competitive as some of
Right.
the people around her
Mhm.
um on this list anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like man, Sabrina playing
I know.
unbelievable. But again, like I wonder what her win share is, or like the second half of the season, or
Right.
second half of the first half. um
So I'm
because
gonna, like.
she's like she and Brianna Stewart just won player of the
Mhm.
month.
Yep.
Her stats are like her numbers are higher than Stewie's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Sabrina statistically, right, is playing. I mean, playing better. It's a little bit
Mhm.
more subjective than that, but just by the numbers, Sabrina has higher numbers. Like
Yeah.
that's wild to me. But again, I'm like, what's the win share?
Yeah, and I mean, New York hasn't won as much. I think Sabrina still has a bit of a turnover problem that could affect, like, things like
Hmm.
win shares, things like that. Um,
Hmm.
but if we, like, look at our options that we just have through here, like, for most improved, like, oh, yep, Sabrina, Alyssa Thomas, um,
Yeah,
another vote for Sabrina. I think, like, you have to include Jackie Young. You have to include
Jackie
Kelsey.
Young's been playing
Um,
incredible.
yeah, it's just uh,
For
most
Kelsey Plum
improved
to
wasn't
go from
possible for me.
sixth man of the year to like off the bench
Yeah.
to playing 34 minutes a game and having the
Mhm.
second highest points per game in the league right now, like,
Yeah.
that to me is incredible.
Yeah.
Um, and you're most like yeah. It almost though feels like a thing where if Kelsey Plum were to win most improved player, she'd be like, no, I should have been
Right.
MVP.
That would be an
Like, it's
insult
like the
almost.
same,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
think she's playing I almost feel like she's playing beyond most improved player. I feel that
Mhm.
way a little bit about Sabrina too. I do think that, like, if you're looking beginning of the season to now, she has,
Right.
that improvement's definitely there. I think Crystal Dangerfield, though, has a lot to do with that.
Mhm.
Um, I think that New York made some changes and some adjustments that allowed Sabrina to play the game she's good at. There was a
Mhm.
great again, her hoop stats, um, talked about their production when Crystal Dangerfield's on the floor versus when she's not. And there I now I gotta find it. Um, it's like pretty remarkable how much
Yeah.
better they play when Crystal Dangerfield's out there. It's pretty cool.
I mean, it's not remarkable when you know Krister Dangerfield and,
Right, and
like,
you've,
what
like,
we're like.
talked to her on
Yeah.
your live stream and, like yeah, no, definitely.
Basically defensive, right. Yeah. So I'm gonna be straight up honest, like, I don't know who I would pick for most improved player. I think I would, like, throw a vote for NECA, um, on my MVP, and that's probably a contrarian kind of take.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think Asia for MVP is my
Right.
I just think she's she stands out on a great
Mhm.
team.
Mhm.
Um, I think there's something to be said for that, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I also like Plum MVP. I don't hate it.
Yeah. I feel
I
like that's what
don't
you're, like,
hate
trying to
it.
talk yourself into
I
earlier.
am, and I'm
So,
just I don't know why. I think Asia just has uh, when you're thinking of like
mhm.
I mean, I do think you should look at rebounds and blocks, and if you're
Right.
gonna make a decision between two people, you're gonna pick the person who's sort of standing out in every aspect of the game,
Mhm.
which I do think disadvantages guards a little bit
Yeah.
in the
Especially in the
conversation.
W. Yeah.
MVPG, like, do we need a different different award? Um, Although then it might be Sloot, so that's another conversation.
Oh man, when we get to like all-star rosters, like I'm
Yeah.
interested to hear who you think your the all-star MVP is going to be, because I have thoughts too.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, um, but then
Yeah, I think I'm going Asia for
I like it.
MVP.
I like it.
Yeah.
And then rookie of the year, like I tried to make a case for other people and tried to like look at stats, and there's no other case. Like it's Ryan Howard. Like
Right.
it feels
I mean,
like a
Shakira
foregone
Austin's been
conclusion.
playing. I feel like I forget already that Shakira Austin's
Hmm.
new. That like the
Right.
way just she just fits into
Yeah.
she just looks so poised.
Should we
She looks
pop it
like she's
over?
been in the
Yeah.
league forever. Like it's
This is probably too small for
and
everyone to
Melissa
see.
Smith too. Yeah, man. So many good people.
Yeah. And so like if you look, pardon me. Bloop. There we go. If we look at it, Melissa Smith, Rebecca Gardner, you forget about Rebecca Gardner.
Mhm.
Also, like this, like steals defensive force. Shakira Austin is right there. I
Yeah.
mean, I think even for a period of time, like Queen Egbo looked like one of those people who was like going to be in a conversation for it. And
Yeah.
after multiple years of like kind of having kind of a ho hum like rookie classes, like man, it feels good to have like such a stacked class
Yeah, this is
for
fun.
this year. Yeah. Huge fan. Huge fan. Um, yeah. Did you find your Sabrina stuff? I'm like trampling all over like your thought
Oh, I
process
like
here.
forgot that I'm looking for win shares. I
Yeah.
like went to look for it and then I was like, do we need that info? And
Right.
I can't. It's funny if it's not like in that first chart, I have a hard time finding it.
This is another person that should be in the conversation for most improved. If Ezzy doesn't win defensive player of the year, which I mean she should, but there are a lot of good candidates for that too. Absolutely. I mean, she has like 4 blocks like every other game. Like she's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Where is
unbelievable.
Sabrina? I feel like I gotta sort a different way. Win shares. Yeah, so win shares is an advanced statistic that approximates the total number of wins a player produces for their team through their play on the offensive and defensive end of the court. So Breanna Stewart produces 4.8 wins for her team. Yeah, I feel like the Aces lose out on that metric. Okay, so Sabrina has 2.7 win share. Her win share is 2.7. Candace at 2.6. Skylar Diggins Smith at 2.5. So you're talking like kind of that top 15. She ranks 12 right now for win shares.
This is the only way to look at stats. Like we got to be funny serious. There's no way I can make a compelling like deep dive case on like win shares like versus per. It's just like I kind of like one in the moment, and I cannot completely explain to you why one is better, worse, otherwise than the other. And it's just a great sorting tool for me mostly.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're kind of right. If it's a good team with a lot of production across the board, you kind of like those players kind of lose out in win shares and player efficiency rating.
Yeah.
But also if you're on a losing team, you win out big
Well,
time on win share.
right. How
Yeah.
does player efficiency rating? How are they calculating that? Let me see.
Ooh, there's a good explanation for that in
I've looked this up before.
mm-hmm.
The per minute value of a player
Yep.
from the box score stats. So when you look at player efficiency rating, you have Breanna Stewart at 1 and then Asia Wilson at 2. The NECA, Sylvia, Brianna Jones, Hanzu, number 6 for player efficiency rating right now. Wow. And in this one, I don't see. Oh, Sabrina's 17 by that metric.
Yeah.
Kelsey Plum 18. Yeah, I think. I looked it up. There's like all sorts of stuff to that one. There's like
right.
whole.
And like a win shares, how they compile it. And I think the same thing for player efficiency is going to be slightly different from site to site. And that's like, Heath, that's a good question. Has Miesemann improved that much, or just better situation this season? I think, like, at least personally, I just kind of, I didn't forget. It's just when she's been out of the league for essentially 2 seasons, you don't grasp like everything that Emma does on the floor to help win games, from just like passing and spacing, screen setting, rebounding.
That's what the Crystal stuff was about. Her off the ball movement and the points like per possession when she's moving off the ball and cutting, because she just moves.
I think she has improvements, and I think she's on as good a situation as she was in the Mystics, if not better, this time around. So yes and yes to that. Do you want to go on to All-Star Game?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything more that you wanted to touch on for who's impressed you in the first half of the season? What other kind of picks you would make?
I'm like a big Aces fan these days, so I gotta probably pay better attention to other people. Is what I'm learning. Sabrina, I think Sabrina's played really incredibly, but we've talked about.
All right.
So before that, the Skies still look good.
Sky still look good. Their upward trajectory has been amazing. Before we get to All-Star, we have another moment I want to start throwing in here. We have an Alicia Gray. And I will prop myself on my soapbox to say Alicia Gray should have been an All-Star. Arike and Gubawale may have the name recognition, but Alicia Gray should have been an All-Star. She deserved it. Give it to her. So I'm going to make a call that we use our hashtag snubbed as we talk about the All-Stars to.
That's good, because I was looking up funny things to do with Gray and was trying to find a Macy Gray song that would work, but you already have a hashtag ready to go.
I think we're ready to move on from Alicia Gray. If Twitter has showed us anything. Yeah.
Hashtag snubbed. I'm not going to enter it in the chat. If you spell it wrong, that feels like your fault. Tried a couple different ways, because I am convinced that if I type that in again, Team Hold will continue to win the moments. Well, here's the thing. So, but Bird's retiring. So Bird and Sylvia are going to be on All-Star teams. I don't really consider that, especially where both of them are on there, right? I don't really consider that taking a spot so much. But
absolutely. And I think the argument could be made that Arike and Natasha Howard were kind of borderline folks to include on this team. And I think if we just watch tape from these different teams to see, like, it feels like Alicia Gray is what's holding the Wings together at this point. Mayberry has moments. Yeah. The bigs are just kind of this weird rotation for Dallas, where like Sabley has a good night, Izzy has a good night, Awak shows flashes occasionally, Tierra McCowan has come on a little bit, but no consistency among the bigs. But Alicia Gray has been that for the team.
Who do you take off?
I would take off Arike, and I would take off Natasha Howard.
Okay.
And like, no disrespect to either, but that's what I would do. Yeah. So, and y'all are doing it right. This is like the video, subscribe to Team Hold, throw that into the chat.
I feel like next time we have to pick a couple hashtags, and you have to. Everyone's just going to type all of them, but that won't work. Never mind. I don't have to. I was going to say you have to guess which one it actually is. Maybe I don't tell anyone what the hashtag is, and I see what everyone else puts in the chat. It's a mystery hashtag.
I love this.
And you have to hope that you get it. Your odds are pretty good if only like a couple people. And if someone gets it right, you can be like, it's in the chat somewhere, and then everyone's going to be typing all of them, and then we pull it really quickly, and it'll be fun.
I think you and I could just confer of just like, these are words that we plan on just like sprinkling into conversation, and just like leave it up to the chat to throw that in there. Very I like that Pee Wee Herman's like secret word kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I did not think I was going to make a Pee Wee Herman reference tonight. Here we are. Not proud of it.
Full of surprises.
I want to move on right away. So there's WNBA Twitter gets upset about a lot of things that I find strange. Among them is that folks were upset that that we have sort of this captains format, this dual captains, co-captains.
Yeah.
That we have Sil and Sue as co-captains on a team with more deserving players as the other captains, like Stewie and Asia. Are you upset by this? Do you have any feelings about it? What are your thoughts?
They could have just made them captains in the first place.
Yes.
Like if that's what we think we should do, I feel like it's much more of an honor to start there. I like that. That probably will be a secret hashtag at some point. You know what I mean? That's great. This is what I mean. You gotta. It's already fun. It's already fun. Yeah, I think they should have just let them. I think they should have just had them be the captains the whole time. I don't think we need. Yeah.
They're not co-captains as it is. They weren't on the selection show. Like.
And you know that Asia and Stewie are going to go 1-2 in whatever order that is when they're selecting teams. Yes. Like it does go in the order pretty much of where everyone ended up being ranked, I think. I mean, that's my guess. At least the first sort of handful.
They would get on the team. They would get on the team. Not every
the top
year.
voters. We know.
Not every year you have like legends like Sil and Sue like retire.
And to have two of them retire, it worked out well, I think, this year for that. I also think there's a world where you could I don't know, there's something kind of fun about letting like former all-stars be the captains of the team. Oh. Like even if it's like someone who's not in the league anymore, to let them draft the team based on their knowledge of the game at the current moment. Like that to me is an interesting layer that's kind of fun. Yeah, I think the top voters, like one of them's going to get MVP. Like I think, they'll get their flowers. It makes me want to ask Asia and Stewie, like, what does it mean to you to be captain of an all-star team? Like, did you enjoy having to take more time than anyone else in the league to pick a team and to have your face on a live stream to do this? Was that, I think they'd be like, honestly, give me less work. Like, I would have loved that hour to myself. Like, I don't know if they'd mind that much. But
the only way they could have rectified this is if you like make Sue and Sil like the coaches for the team. Like that's what I would have wanted to see. Like if Sylvia Fowles couldn't have played in the game, which it looked like was likely before she came back, like let her be the head coach. I would want to see that. Yeah.
I think that's fun. That's what that'd be fun.
All right.
Because they have current coaches as the all-star coaches.
Yeah. Do we know like I haven't looked at this at all. Do we know what like the line is on these teams? Is like Team Wilson or Team Stewart? Is there a favorite here? Into Vegas?
I don't know.
Okay.
Who do you take?
I look at this and I think it's tough to beat Team Wilson on here.
I think so too. And then it's funny because I'm like, it's like half of the Aces starting lineup.
Which the notion of like once we started to get to reserves, Asia's first pick is Ryan Howard and like does not go teammate at all, like with Hamby on that. That was a great TV moment for me. Because they chirped at each other.
They're fun on the internet too.
Oh, they're great. Yeah. I would have taken like another tortilla challenge just to see them like settle it. Like that would have been amazing.
Oh, they should have an all-star tortilla challenge.
Tortilla skills challenge.
That'd be great.
Oh, I would love
There's a sponsorship opportunity by a tortilla brand that
the Mission Tortilla Challenge.
On a mission?
Yep. Ooh. Big brain. Big brain. Oh, we got a Team Stewie in the chat. Okay. I mean, I could see it. I mean,
they're both really good teams, but I just think Asia's team is better.
Yes, they are. Skylar was ranked 17th by the players in the All-Star vote, 17th in the guards. There were 17 guards who had a higher spot in the voting ranks for players than Skylar.
So that might have been the only metric that Mike won by.
Oh yeah,
Was
absolutely.
Ryan? I would think that Ryan would have been ranked higher. Although I don't know.
He hasn't been
Maybe
around
we
long
don't know
enough
her.
to
Yeah, maybe we don't
get
know her well.
disliked.
I don't remember. That may have been. I may have misspoke. We'll have to double check the rankings on that one metric. But
All right, so it seems like the formula for All-Star Game MVP is like either like a hometown person or like Ricky Ngubawale last year.
relax, Mike. We haven't confirmed it yet. I'm a players voter. Anyway.
We did not discuss players voting in this at all. Stop it. Stop it. It was entirely fan vote. And so it goes to like the hometown person or like someone who's just going to chuck shots like crazy. So you look at this list, who stands out to you as like a potential MVP?
Like who's going to show out a little bit?
Yeah.
I hope Sabrina does. I would love if Sabrina's just like firing up threes and gets hot and goes for it. I can see a lot of them. I can see Skylar Diggins-Smith doing something similar. And then
time out.
Yeah. What if I banned him? Could he log in? Like, he's banned from his own StreamYard. Yeah, Skylar I think is fun. I think some of that Phoenix drama, I feel like there's some potential there for her to really be like, yeah, I'm an all-star and I deserve to be here and I'm the best player on my team.
Like, love that narrative.
Yeah, I like that for her. Man, it could be anyone. That's such a dumb thing to say, but
I was leaning Ka or
I like that.
Kelsey for kind of my top two. But this whole Skylar narrative, like now that's what I want to see. I want to see Twitter completely filled with clown emojis, like the moment Skylar wins MVP. Yeah, let's do that. I like that.
I think that narrative's there. I think that's fun. Any one of these people, right? Like anyone on here has the potential to go off. I'm thinking, so the Sabrina call for me is like, who's good at from three? And so I'm trying to see like who else on this. Kelsey Plum, I guess in that scenario too, could have that potential. Like if someone gets hot from three, I think it wins it.
Yep.
Because then I think they just keep feeding them and that's fun. And that like, it's like the Steph game, like Steph All-Star game. He just, he keeps going and moves further and further back. And then it's part of it. It's an offensive game. So, whoever gets hot on offense, but I can see Skylar Diggins-Smith taking control of the ball, showing out a little bit.
All right, let's do this again. Keep throwing snubbed in the chat. We got moments to give away. I like this. This is going to be a great All-Star game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the most like Midwest statement ever, but like Chicago's only an 8-hour drive for us. And
you going?
Considering I looked at tickets were about $300 a seat at this point.
Do you think they'd give you influencer passes?
See, that's what we should have done. I should have told them. I have a YouTube show that's watched by dozens of people.
We had Crystal Dangerfield on the show.
I know. Like pull some strings, Crystal.
Yeah.
I mean, Mag Attack, I love you dearly. And I know that Kelsey Mitchell is like top 5 in the league in scoring. But Kelsey Mitchell plays for Indiana Fever. Yeah. Oh, huge fan of all Kelseys. Yeah.
Huge fan of the Kelseys. They all spell it the right way.
I mean, she plays for the Indiana Fever. And I'm sorry. I don't know that was that wasn't going to help in the voting. That probably wasn't going to help in getting a reserve spot. You know how many doors that's opened for me? A lot. A lot of steakhouses, a lot of runzas. If you know, you know. Yeah, that works a lot. Yeah. Really?
All right, should we pull this?
Yeah, I think she was probably a top guest of the 5 or so guests that we've had. Yeah. All right, are we ready to roll a snubbed?
Yeah, all right.
Let's go.
Let's share the tab.
Let me get off. There you go.
Share.
Opened up for you.
Giveaway tool. Share this. Here we go. It's a lot of Mac attacks there.
Mark Dennis. All right. Writing that down. Old man pen. Yep.
What makes a pen an old man pen?
Oh, this thing is like thick. It is it's a Sutton Dermatology and Aesthetics.
Okay, so that pen. It is a branded pen.
It is a branded pen,
thick
a branded
with two
dermatology pen.
Branded pen. Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Old man pens.
And also like the old man is using the pen. I think usage. See, yeah, we like our we like our pens thick. Yeah. Multiple C's on it too. Oh, awesome. You already have your TS name in the chat. Oh my God, y'all are crushing it. Thank you.
That's so helpful.
There is not a worse feeling than like.
Did you see that? You may have shown this. I was looking at the giveaway tool. But this is why I think they should give you a media pass.
I would,
because that content is exceptional. Somebody who talks about the WNBA and loves the WNBA and follows and watches and dedicates at minimum an hour of their week to bringing WNBA news to others,
and almost threw up
to then
out of
the camera on you.
Yeah.
Yes, to put the camera on you while you're meeting all these players and you're there, you're on the floor, you're watching the game. That's how you bring more fans into the W.
Right. You know, I have the excited kid meeting Mickey Mouse for the first time energy with all these things. Yeah. So there we go. We got it.
It's great TV.
WNBA Top Shot. If you can hook me up.
Anyone watching?
Anyone watching? Let's go.
I am a little bummed it's not in Vegas.
It should have been. I know.
Yeah, I think if you could, I mean, I guess maybe you want it to be separate events, but I do think there's something kind of cool about having all like WNBA All-Star, and then you have NBA Summer League, and you make it a whole thing, and then you kind of bridge the gap between the two organizations there. But you know,
it is why you love me. This is all authentic, just like right here. Yeah. And Chris, welcome. I'm glad you're watching this. We're not going to have time for it today, but we're going to dig into our ESPN Fantasy League.
This reminded me of it. I'm waiting. There's going to be a point where I have to re-download that app for sure.
Oh no.
I'm honestly wondering if it has a little arrow of like, you haven't used this in a long enough time.
The little cloud with down arrow.
Yes, it's like you gotta re-download.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Kels. Yeah,
I can't talk. Yeah.
Wow.
Monday morning, my coffee at like 6 a.m. We are just like thumbing through my like 4 teams that I have, setting lineups for the week, and then I forget about it until next Monday.
All right, you got to tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, because I'm not killing it on FanDuel.
Yeah, go-to plays. I feel like I very strategically choose my slates for players I feel.
You can even see how bad I'm doing on FanDuel.
I haven't made a lineup in a while. That's also a thing I've been forgetting to do. Things have been busy over here.
Oh yeah, if you want to join the Team Hold Discord in our Watch Your Work show page, we share the DFS lineups that we throw in. Mac Attack, Schnapp, some other folks do that. Also in the WNBA Collectors Discord, we have a whole page in there for kind of verified WNBA set holders. I say we. I'm not among that we. Like Schnapp, Mac, Quote the Craven, do some work in there. There's a DFS channel in there. We've started setting up just some like free daily contests for folks to join in kind of a small number. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So join in. And if you have, Chris, if you have tips, let us know.
More takes. We need more.
Let us know.
More ideas, more conversation, more commentary, more thoughts. We love it.
All right.
Makes us all better.
Let's see how terrible we're doing in DFS land today. What do we got set up? We are 191st out of 357.
If you're not first, you're last. You know, you gotta pick a game narrative.
I prefer to be last. This whole like middle thing is just it's not working for me. See, we thought Emma Cannon was going to get a little more run with Queen being out. Kelsey Mitchell, the almost all-star, did really well. Thought Natisha was going to play a little bit better. She had a long string of double-digit point games that obviously came to an end today.
Was that Seattle Indiana game supposed to be either closer or? I'm curious. I feel like you did a couple. You kind of targeted that game.
I did target that game.
Yeah, how come?
I thought it was going to be a higher scoring game. So in all honesty, I put this lineup in just running on coffee vibes at about like 6:30 this morning. Meant to go back and check it once some of the sites updated their projections. Did not do that. And just kind of rolled with it. But yeah, that's kind of what we targeted that morning, and not going to work out tonight, but that's all right.
Yeah, you picked one though. I think it's smart to target a game.
That's a great description of it. You certainly.
Well, I mean, some people don't. Like you have to pick one, and then you kind of think through like what do you think is going to happen, and make your choices kind of aligned to that. Yeah.
Mac Attack asking for help too. Like we all need the help. You are not terrible.
I'm so upset. The day I was, because in Connecticut I can't submit my lineups, and I made a lineup, and I was like, oh, I can't submit it, and I remember multiple people in that lineup having excellent days that day, and I was like, this happened because I couldn't do it. This honestly is good advice. Also, watch when Alana Deladon's sitting. Like, obviously, don't play those people, but also think through like who now is going to get more playing time or more exposure as a result. What's interesting about WNBA here, though, different from the NBA, is that like, yeah, someone else will come off the bench to fill that spot, but I feel like in the NBA, that means you can guarantee you're going to get value for that person in a way that I don't know if that's always as true for the W.
It doesn't seem to be as true.
No, and I think you're looking at like your 2 or 3 player, kind of taking that out. I often will pick Natasha Cloud in this scenario.
See, I like Elizabeth Williams too. Yeah, in that choice. I mean, Elizabeth Williams is usually going to be like under like $4,500 in FanDuel.
Have they started adjusting the pricing for Deladon games? I guess not.
It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like they have. I mean, Alicia Clark is a good play just about any game, but she says
the Fever early in the season were great for that reason. They were cheap, and they also have to play a full game. So like if you have they've adjusted those salaries a little bit more as well. I'm sure Kelsey Mitchell and yours wasn't, quite as cheap of an option as she may have been at the beginning of the season. But
once McCowan started getting back in the Dallas lineup, like she was going for like $3,200 or something, and then this morning she was like 55 or something like that. So like they definitely caught up with like.
And that's FanDuel.
Yeah, that was FanDuel. Yeah. I can never remember like DraftKings. They always set it just so much higher on there, which I mean, it allows you to have you can have like 3 all-stars in a lineup, whereas you were really, it really seems like you're scraping the barrel sometimes picking FanDuel. You
really do have to find that.
Right.
I also think you have to fill more roster spots on FanDuel, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right. 3 guard spots and the more forwards. What else were we going to talk about?
We did All-Star Game. We did awards. We did probably some Top Shot stuff.
We have Top Shot stuff. Oh my gosh!
I told myself I wasn't going to spend any more money on the platform, and I just bought 2 moments to complete the challenge because I was like, done. I just feel like I gotta do some of these. I keep going back and forth if I want to buy the rest of the moments in the newer set. I don't think I want to. I do, but I don't want to spend money right now. It's where I'm at.
Yeah, and let's see. Our friend Top Shot, I should say our friend, Mike's friend, Top Shot Talk, which he's welcome to come on our show anytime. He had a great tweet kind of outlining who is going to be showing up on this drop that's coming up this week, and just like a really helpful kind of explanation.
Should we fire up the next giveaway while we go through this?
Yeah, absolutely. So We have, again, thanks to JK's, we have the Series 4 Asia Wilson to give away. Great play on that moment. And what do we like? What do we want for a hashtag?
I feel like we need to give him one. I want to be like, guess. Everybody guess.
Ooh.
This is tough. The hashtags.
This is tough.
I mean, we probably don't need to. I think we're overthinking it.
I think we are. This is great content. Just us, like.
I think it needs to be Wilson, all caps. You need to type it in a Tom Hanks voice.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to promise that you're gonna type it like you're yelling Wilson, and that's enough. That's enough for me. So
I love, like, we speculate on moments. We speculate on hashtags. This is great.
And I did put a hashtag on this one. I don't know. Yeah, there we go.
Hashtag.
I thought I was doing a bunch of O's and N's, but then that felt like it would get confusing. And I didn't want people to be like, that's too many things to think about. Keep it nice and simple. But you have to, yeah. It's too bad we can't add a voice note to the chat of like, you have to yell, Wilson.
There you go. Not that, but that's the voice that went.
That's what I imagined. Yes, that's probably what I probably should have done it, and then it was a random number of extra letters.
Right.
Yeah. You had to spell it. You had to spell it right. But yeah, it's just the standard spelling of Asia's last name.
I gotta let you know, I am so hyped for a Rui Machida moment on this side. She is. Anyone who follows me on Twitter knows, like, she is like my favorite player this season.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yes,
those are good rookies.
Yeah, huge fan. Anything jumping out to you?
I mean, these all seem fun. I'm kind of like just giving more W moments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at this though, and I'm not like I need that. I need it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I guess the moment's gonna be. I can see a Destiny Henderson moment being really fun.
Yep.
I really like Destiny Henderson. Yeah, but I'm not like, I don't know. These don't feel like they have a ton of value. Like nothing here is like that is gonna be worth more than other stuff. You know,
nothing's gonna be worth more than the Ryan Howard rookie.
Yeah.
On there. Yeah. I agree. Which that I sold one. I had two. I sold one last week to start doing the Candace Parker.
What's that going challenge.
For? And it was going at about 38 when I sold it last week. Which, I mean, pretty reasonable for that.
39.
Yeah, and agree. Like, these folks are going to start showing up almost immediately in flash challenges. So let's take a look at some of that, because we're going to start getting.
Yeah, this is a good call. Melissa Smith is probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let's see the moment we start getting new packs. Dapper already has up 2 new flash challenges. It looks like they're going to run simultaneously. One of us is going to give us an Alyssa Thomas Top Shot debut, I think. The other one is a Emma Miesemann Top Shot debut. Looks like one's going to be for, I see the boards and I assume that this is like for rebounds. Player with the most total rebounds in each WNBA game, spanning from 7-5 to 7-7. That's just when like we get our break right before the All-Star game. And for the other one, the settling the score, that's going to be for anyone with the most points during that sort of time frame for games. So that's going to be fun, like to have 2 kind of W moment or W challenges like that running simultaneously. That's going to be good. This is just at the end of when we were getting our crafting challenges done. Kelsey, did you do anything for the Candace or the Tarasi crafting?
I don't think so. No, I didn't do any of the crafting stuff. I just don't think I want to, because I don't want to get rid of moments.
Yeah. So I was ready to jump in to
So
do the crafting challenges because I got my run it back that I got from my pack was Katie Smith, and that was staying at one of the lower price moments. So I sold a Ryan Howard. I sold the Tatum throwdowns that I got in one of those like free packs, and went out to get another couple of those run it backs and found that Candace moment. So I didn't get the cereal I wanted, but it's pretty cool to have that moment. It's kind of
yeah.
still something that's going to hold value, and I'd rather have that as a rare versus a Katie Smith. And I also I haven't opened it yet. We can open up my like DT pack. Do we want to run the wheel for our Wilson, and then we
Yeah.
got one more moment after that to give away.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Here we go.
I don't understand this stuff either, Chris. Just follow
Yeah, if
along
you have
with us.
specific questions, let us
Yeah.
know. We'll do our best to answer them.
Okay.
Our Top Shot talk. Here we go.
Ellie, probably Eli.
It's probably Eli.
Probably Eli.
Yeah. Pretty good. Send your
Eli, let
Top
me
Shot
know.
username.
Yeah, let us know the username. And let's see. Let's bring the screen back up. Because then, Chris, we can show you all the fun that we make content for in our pack openings. So here's the Tarasi crafting challenge.
This is
moment.
great. We love when you're in the chat and you're here sharing your usernames right away.
Honestly, you'd love to see it.
Is this a betting thing? So there, not really, but there is sort of a bet on stuff component here, which is what the chat's been talking about. These are NFTs. They're of plays from the game. They have created challenges. So to compete in those challenges, you get another moment as a result of the challenges, but you have to basically put a handful of moments into those things. So there's some speculation with the challenges Kevin showed us, right? One of them's for rebound. So you have to kind of look at the game matchups and think who's going to be the highest, who's going to get the most rebounds. And then you could buy that moment early and kind of bet on, certain players in that way. And then if that turns out to be true, have this moment that other people need to complete the challenge. But other than that, you're not really there's more of speculation, I guess, than betting. But yeah. If you need more info on what challenges are, I can do my best to help. But why is Kevin drinking about
Neil, you're roasting me. What is going on here, my man? When you go like in the off colors for Hydro Flask bottles, you get the deals. These are the ones that are on sale. Like you don't need like the blue or the black or whatever. Like you can get a mustard yellow bottle and it's less ridiculous.
Mustard yellow is a big color right now.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like we're coming up on fall. Like mustard is huge in the fall. So
mustard's in Diamond Hands.
Yeah. And go to breakfast. Currently it's frosted mini wheats and almond milk. We're super fancy. Otherwise, like, I mean, if you want to take me out for brunch, I'm a brunch guy. So come on over.
The answer, my default breakfast is brunch.
I think brunch, like when you say brunch, like you have more of a green light to overeat versus just like breakfast. Like brunch is an event.
It's 2 meals.
Yeah, exactly.
Brunch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think of it as the middle of the Venn diagram meal. No, it's 2. You can make it 2 if you want.
2 separate. There's no middle here. It's two separate
breakfast,
things.
lunch, breakfast, and lunch.
All right. This pack is actually, speaking of being old, we can't do dairy anymore. Like that threshold has been passed. Like
we're an oat milk family these days.
There we go. All right.
This was a prize for a different type of challenge, but same idea, that you complete the challenge and you are rewarded with a moment that comes in a pack like this, and then you see what number you get, because like regular trading cards, serial numbers matter.
This is the Lincoln, Nebraska, like.
Have we tapped into a Nebraska audience?
We have.
The entire state is here.
Mr. Jolkowski has been tapped into the Lincoln market. There's like 2 two folks in Team Hold in Lincoln, Nebraska, and both are here on the show. I am a like before Cook's Cafe like moved to the new location, I was all in on them, but now I'm kind of more of an Engine House guy. So hopefully that doesn't threaten our friendship. Yeah, and there are dozens of us. Dozens. All right, let's open this moment.
I'm
We've
liking
talked way too
the
long.
side milk preference chat that's happening.
All right, so kind of middle of the pack cereal on it. I still like, let's get a look at what the moment is on here. Bang. I love the little like front foot kick too. Just create as much space as possible. I will say though, like this is not my favorite era of WNBA jerseys. Like that is not my best look.
But you know what? If they sold them and gave us options, I'd probably still buy
absolutely. I would have one right behind, like I would have several right now. Yeah.
Yeah. The worse it is, the more exciting it is to have. I saw a tail in the background.
Oh.
Saying hello.
Hey, Bandy. It's good to hear you. I love the little like dog sound, the little around.
Yes, yeah.
That happens around our house all the time as well. We have one more moment to give away, and hashtag on that is going to be free BG, because this is going to be Brittany Griner Top Shot debut, and it's been a really challenging week for Brittany Griner news. I mean, it hasn't been really good for a long time, but I don't know if anyone has read the letter that she sent Joe Biden. That's pretty wrenching, and to hear some of the challenges that Brittany's family is experiencing, and just contacting her, that the State Department just like missed phone call times, that they haven't heard back from her since the letter was submitted. Like these things are challenging, and I imagine for any family who haven't watched this like play out in real time on the news and in like your own life, it has to weigh pretty heavy. So, and in addition to the WNBA family part of this, Sue Bird has talked about players receiving letters from Brittany and sending letters. Some of her like other like the teammates on like her European teams, and that's a challenge. And it's starting to feel like a kind of a seismic shift is happening across women's basketball, where these teams like Breanna Stewart, other players are transferring their teams in Europe out of Russia and are deciding to play elsewhere. And it's a lot. There's a lot that's happened, and I've spoken a lot on it. Like, sort of, Kelsey, do you have thoughts, things?
No, I think your point that this has to change kind of the landscape of overseas ball, especially people playing for the Russian national team. Like, this consequence is too great. It's not. I mean, there's no amount of money you could pay someone for this to be a risk, and this is now a known risk. Yeah, it's sad. It's hard. It's funny. I don't think I've ever, right? Like you hear about sort of hostage situations and kind of sort of taking prisoners from other countries, and it feels like something from a movie. It doesn't always feel tangible to me, like a real thing that happens. And so it makes it feel closer to home in a way that I don't think other stories like this, because she's not the first and she won't be the last person that this happens to, which is also tragic in itself. But like it's wild to me. It's sometimes hard to kind of even find the words to describe it. Get her home. And it's weird too, because for a while, I feel like at the beginning, there was this kind of not being sure of how much to elevate her kind of as a
Mhm.
person, a player, a figure,
Yeah.
because there's a bargaining piece here. There's this
Mhm.
sort of air of like, do we tell everyone how important she is? Do we tell everyone how big of a deal she is? Do we tell everyone how talented she is? Do we sort of try to elevate her game to then like elevate her importance? And like it should be important to get her home regardless, right? But
Right.
I do think like I do wonder how the narrative would be different if this were the best NBA player.
Yeah.
Like it just in a lot of ways it's hard for me to believe.
Mhm.
But I do, yeah. I mean, I hope this resolves soon.
Yeah.
I hope this resolves well.
Yeah. And if you don't know, I
Yeah.
mean, she played for a Russian team that's part of sort of the larger kind of Euro League in the W off season because
Yeah.
they pay better, they're treated better
They make more
as
money in the off
professional.
season
Yeah,
generally, W
yeah.
players.
And so that's, I mean, a lot of players do that. She was teammates with like John Qual Jones, Brianna Stewart, some others,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where her detention started. And what we've noticed, as we were talking about just briefly too, is that a lot of that has shifted, and a lot of players are probably moving more towards playing in places like Turkey or Germany or elsewhere. Not that Turkey has the best human rights record either, but that these things are starting to shift quite a bit. And in the next year, in this upcoming year, part of the collective bargaining agreement between the owners and the players in the WNBA, they basically have a set date where players have to report back to their WNBA teams. As you may have seen earlier in this season, a lot of players kind of trickled back in, some starting several weeks after the season did, because of their overseas commitments. And the kind of the new sticking point in the collective bargaining agreement is that starting in this upcoming year, that there's going to be kind of a hard date that players have to be back by. And what's happening in Russia currently is starting to kind of change that landscape, as you said, Kelsey. So
Yeah.
it's
Well, and I
the
hope it
player side will
creates
be, yeah.
yeah, I hope it creates more opportunities at home. I
Hmm.
think it's hard on those players to have to go abroad for that long and to, I
Hmm.
mean, essentially leave their families
Yeah.
anyway, right?
Hmm.
Um, to make the money they kind of deserve to make.
Right.
Yeah, I hope it kind of keeps dialogue going about what the women deserve to be paid, sort of eliminates the need for them to have to do that.
Yeah.
Kind of round out opportunities at home. If that
Hmm.
does continue to be a need, I do think there's sort of this transition period right before they're paid, kind of what we
Yeah.
hope that they'll someday be paid. But
Yeah.
yeah, that those things can kind of happen here. AU is a great starting
Yeah.
point for that.
Athletes
But
unlimited.
it will be
Yeah.
super interesting to kind of see how this shapes the dialogue moving
Hmm.
forward. Because I mean, I wouldn't play like
Right.
this,
I know.
right?
It would
Like,
change what I would do.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah. So
free
bring Brittany
BG,
home. Yep.
get in the chat.
Um, yeah. And while you
And
bring
yeah,
up
and
that
Phoenix has some
suspend,
cool stuff.
yeah. And they do have stuff going on. Mac Attack has it right that there's a shoe drive. There is online petitions that you can sign. There was recently kind of a joint statement through the House of Representatives, like demanding that Griner be released. And so you can write representatives about this. You can do kind of the change.org petitions. You can donate. There's a lot of ways to get involved.
Yeah, it
The
does
Phoenix
feel
Mercury
like
team site can give you some of those options.
yeah, it does feel like too we've kind of been given the green light to make noise.
Hmm.
I think for a
Right.
little while that wasn't
Right.
necessarily true. It was sort of like, yeah, make some, but let's not make too much because we
Right.
like, you know,
Hmm.
still trying to negotiate and figure it all out. But it does feel like at this point, noise is helpful. So
Hmm. For sure.
continue to do that.
Yeah.
Um, great practice with the hashtag free BG on
Exactly.
our giveaway here.
That's what you got to
Um,
do.
yeah, should we
Yeah.
give that away?
Let's give that away. While you bring
All
that
right,
up,
here we go.
I had a note to talk about. I started watching the Dream On documentary last night, and oh my God, it is so good. I only watched part one, but man, there was so much about like that 96 team I did not remember.
I gotta watch
It was
it.
great to come out. Yeah. Tara Vanderveer was a hard-nosed coach. Oh my gosh. Probably still is. I mean, she's still coaching. Oh, we got to respend. We got to respend.
You think
Mark, we're
so?
glad that you're here. I think so.
If Mark wins it again on the second draw,
Oh,
though,
absolutely.
we
Yeah,
gotta. Maybe we let Mark pick which moment.
we can do that.
So
Rowdy.
yeah, so Mark, let us know which one you'd like. I forget which
Okay.
one you already won. But I think if you get pulled a second time, you can choose between those two moments. And then Rowdy
Yep.
Rod, we will give you whichever one Mark does not choose.
Yeah. Mark,
Because
your
that
moment that
did
you won first was in Alicia Gray.
so Alicia Gray or BG,
Mhm.
AG or BG. And then Rowdy Rod.
There you
Be sure
go.
to send you the other one.
Rowdy Rod and OG for
Yeah,
watch your work. Yeah.
we love that. We love
Glad
that.
that everyone's here.
Mark, it's Alicia Gray or Brittany Griner.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go do some research, you can get that in. You can get back to us. No, Chris, I think she's the year after.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark's gonna take the BG. So Rowdy Rod, you get the AG. And there we go.
There we go. It's all good. I'll get those moments to you. Man, tomorrow I'm going to bed right after this.
Yeah, it's like, what time is
It's
it?
time.
Okay.
Right.
Definitely.
Kelsey, it was good to talk to you.
Yeah, you too. This was fun, you
Yeah,
guys. It's been a couple weeks. Hopefully I can be here more consistently, but the summer's weird.
that's right.
So we'll do what we can.
And
But
right. And I think it's good to show up for these kind of things, considering the kind of last 3 weeks that women in this country have had.
yeah.
Not just women, but all those who are impacted by different decisions that have been happening over the last 3 weeks. So I will go back to what we have talked about before and say that in kind of the long arc of justice and good work, it is all this bundled mess of strings and yuck. And when we can show up and start to pull on one of those strings, whether that's for advocating for women in sports, making sure that they're paid fairly, making sure that someone who is unjustly detained, that we speak up about that and make a correction on it. All those things pull in the right direction. And I'm glad that we have this space here to talk about it. So thanks, Kelsey.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for showing up.
We did it.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.